Hello everyone and welcome to another video. It has been 6 years ever since the Nintendo Switch was first released, and even the most recent model, the OLED Switch, came out all the way back in 2021. Naturally, due to the console's ever-increasing age, rumors about a Switch Pro, or perhaps even a Switch 2, are more common than ever. In this pool of information, you might ask yourself if it's even worth it buying one right now, or if you should simply wait and see what Nintendo has in store for us in the near future. Let's take a closer look. I got the OLED Switch on its release day back in October 2021 as a bundle with Metroid Dread, and ever since it has become my preferred way to play Switch games. But before we talk about the OLED Switch specifically, let's take note on the other models for reference. The OLED Switch is the most expensive model with a price tag of 350 euros. The regular Switch model, or the old Switch model, costs 300 euros and offers many of the same features as the OLED Switch. More on that in a minute. The third Switch model is the Switch Lite. This one is vastly different from its two larger siblings due to the fact that, unlike them, it can't output to a TV or monitor. It's a dedicated handheld and as a result costs only 200 euros. With this out of the way, why is the OLED Switch so sought after? On the first glance it resembles the regular Switch, but upon closer inspection you will see that it offers several improvements over its older sibling. The most noteworthy being the 7-inch 720p OLED panel, which is a big upgrade compared to the older 6.2-inch LCD panel. But in addition, the OLED Switch also introduced a redesigned adjustable kickstand, which is significantly more reliable than the flimsy piece of plastic we were cursed with prior. It also comes with 64 instead of 32 GB of internal storage, though all models have a microSD card slot to increase storage capacity. The OLED Switch comes with its own dock, which offers an Ethernet port, something the previous dock didn't have, but both docks can be used regardless of which model you own. The dimensions of the OLED Switch are ever so slightly larger than the regular model, so accessories like grips and cases are not interchangeable. The system is also slightly heavier due to the fact that it uses some metal parts where the previous model relied almost exclusively on plastic. For instance, the kickstand, the bezels and the Joy-Con rails are all made out of metal. The speakers have been moved to the bottom of the system, right below the bezels, which realistically doesn't make any difference, but Nintendo claims that the speakers were improved upon as well. Aside from these differences, the models are the same. They both use Nvidia's Tegra X1 chip and have the same performance in games. The battery life is the same, the detachable Joy-Cons are also interchangeable, and overall both models have way more similarities than they have differences. So, is the OLED Switch worth it? It comes down to two things really. First, the price. There is a 50 euro difference, which is definitely something to consider. For example, instead of an OLED Switch, you could get the regular model plus a first-party Nintendo game. Just an idea. Second, and most importantly, how do you want to play the Switch? This is what it all comes down to in the end. While the OLED Switch has some noteworthy upgrades, they are almost exclusively related to handheld use. I personally play the majority of the time handheld, so the OLED Switch was a great purchase for me. If you, however, want to sit back on the couch and play on a big TV in docked mode, maybe with a Pro controller, or perhaps playing party games with friends and family, the OLED Switch does practically nothing for you. If you are like me though, and you enjoy taking your console with you and playing on the go, then the OLED Switch might be better suited for you, because that OLED glass panel is crisp and colorful and much more enjoyable in comparison. It's also more durable as a result of the different materials used. Regardless of which model you are interested in, there's a question that is on a lot of people's mind as of late, and this is, what is Nintendo going to do next? Switch successor rumors are as old as the Switch itself, and now that the console is in its 7th year, it's a perfectly valid expectation to have. The issue is that rumors and speculations, and also plain false information sometimes, are so common they are essentially unavoidable. People will have you believe that the Switch Pro is imminent for years now, very often backed with nothing but a random post on Reddit. I personally, and this is just my opinion, have doubts that any new console or even a hardware revision will release this year. For one, interest in the Nintendo Switch hasn't slowed down significantly yet. The console is still selling incredibly well, as Nintendo plans to further increase production while simultaneously preparing for the launch of possibly the biggest release of the year, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, it is true that previous Nintendo home consoles were replaced around the 6 to 7 year mark, but they also didn't make nearly as much money, with the Switch now taking third place as one of the most sold consoles of all time, and the best-selling Nintendo home console of all time. It just has to be said how beneficial it is for Nintendo to ride the Switch train for as long as possible. Considering this, the timing for a new system is not ideal right now, not while the Switch is doing as well as it does. And once we will see a different piece of hardware, which we inevitably will, it will probably be something that is backwards compatible with the Switch due to the massive user base that has accumulated over the years. In summary, I can wholeheartedly recommend the Switch OLED model even in 2023, provided you are even marginally interested in handheld gaming. That being said, the original model is not a terrible choice either. But that's it on my part. If you have any questions or simply want to share your opinion, leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, have a wonderful day.